What's up, guys? I want to another video, and this is gonna be a different type of video since this is really the first time I ever discuss wrestling. Now, me personally, growing up, I never really watched wrestling that much, but as of recently, I have been going to a bit of a WWE rabbit hole, or whatever, about wrestling. And I also watched a video that explored the dark rabbit holes of WWE, whether or not it's the whole Vince McMahon thing, which literally just happened recently, but I'll get over it in a different video. Um, but there is one specific story that not only is this pretty disturbing, but this is also very sad at the same time, and that is, judging by the thumbnail, is the infamous Chris Benoit situation. Now, this happened around 2007. Right around that time when I was practically, well, I'm not going to say what year I was born in, but let's just say I was very, very young back then. I shouldn't be revealing that. So back in 2007, there was there was this famous wrestler named Chris Benoit who was a pretty good wrestler, to where he had an awesome theme song, which I still listen to this very day. Um, but but the reason why I say the Chris Benoit situation is sad is because I don't know, he kind of unalived his own family. Yeah. So what happened was, according to the police reports, that he essentially you know killed both his wife and his son, and eventually himself. So that's pretty much kind of what happened, long story short. And WWE, now, to be clear, at the time, WWE didn't know that Chris Benoit did this, so they decided to do a tribute show for him. And not long after they did the tribute show, that revelation happened. And because of that, Vince McMahon and WWE pretty much told everybody that, hey, we're not even gonna mention his name ever again, which I understand in a business standpoint, but it's you can't do that, man. Like yes, what he did was terrible, yes, but you still need to honor him in the Hall of Fame, which that's probably never gonna happen because of what he did. But to me, when I look at that, and this may sound a bit morbid, but I'm not really upset with Chris Benoit for doing it. Now, I just want to make this clear, okay? I do not support what he did. I think what he did was wrong, obviously. But if you look at it in his point, according to autopsy reports, have shown that he was quite literally suffering from a severe case of CTE, essentially, to where my man's brain was like a mush, to where they pretty much described that he pretty much had the brain of an 80-year-old man, essentially, which honestly, and there's plenty of signs of him showing this type of CTE. Now, for those who don't know, CTE is pretty much this thing to where athletes get hit in the head so many times that it causes a lot of damage to their brain, to where it would cause them to do horrific things, right? Pretty much they're not in the right state of mind most of the time. And if things could have ended up differently and people would have caught the early signs before he did it, he probably should have stopped wrestling at that point. If your brain was that messed up, then yeah, you gotta stop doing wrestling at that point, man. Because my man's brain was so messed up that if only someone had news sooner rather than later, most likely his family could have been alive today. You know? So it's kind of like this thing to where you shouldn't be really upset with them because they were clearly not in the right state of mind while doing it, clearly. But it still doesn't justify, the murders, obviously. Right? Now, there have been a couple of conspiracy theories surrounding his death to where some people say that people like some people like Vince McMahon were involved in his death, to where some people believe that Vince McMahon was like a Freemason, or it was like crazy theories like that, to where it was no coincidence that not long after Chris Benoit's death that WWE turned PG essentially. So, and there was also this one promo that Chris Benoit also did, to where like looking back now, it did not age well at all. To where like now I'm not sure if I'm okay for showing this video because I've been having some trouble as of recently with YouTube. Um, so for that, I'm not gonna show it, but I will link it into the description down below. But pretty much pretty much in that promo, he kind of implies or unintentionally implies that he's gonna, murder his own family essentially, unintentionally so. It unintentionally predicted his own fate, essentially, which is kind of eerie when you look at it that way. But to me, but yeah, that is really why I think the whole Chris Benoit situation is just really sad. And really, the moral of the story is that, and I don't want to sound preachy, but you just never know what someone is going through, man. Like, you never know if someone, like, lost a family member or any of that. Because, for one, he pretty much had a lot of issues because everyone saw him as never being good enough for wrestling, essentially. Plus, his losing his best friend, Eddie Guerrero, also played a big part into his eventual health decline. But, yeah. Those are really my whole thoughts on the whole Chris Benoit situation, and I'll see you guys in the next one, and peace.